Imagine standing before a digital lock, crying and begging it to open because you are a good person. It sounds insane. A lock doesn't care about your emotions. It only cares about the code. Yet, for thousands of years, humanity has been taught to approach the divine exactly this way. The institutions call it prayer. The ancient Gnostics called it amnesia. They knew the universe isn't waiting to be impressed by your suffering. It is a system waiting to be unlocked. There is a moment in the Gospel of John that exposes this secret. Before raising Lazarus, Jesus does not kneel. He does not ask, "Father, please, if it is your will." He looks up and activates a circuit. "Father, I thank you that you have heard me." Notice the tense. Past tense. Before the dead man moves, the frequency is already finished. He isn't asking an external deity for a favor. He is acknowledging a connection that never broke. When he commands, "Lazarus, come forth," it isn't a religious ritual. It is a metaphysical override. He is hacking the simulation. The entities that govern this material realm, what the ancients called the Archons, the unseen jailers of consciousness, have worked tirelessly to hide this distinction. They need you in the posture of a beggar. But you are watching this because the old way of praying has stopped working. You feel static on the line. That static is not failure. It is a wake-up call. Tonight, we do not pray, we call. We reconnect the direct line to the monad. But a warning, once you learn this mechanism, you cannot unknow it. Reality will shift. If you are ready to take that risk, let us begin. To execute the call, you must first delete the definition of a miracle you were taught at birth. The institutions teach that a miracle is a violation of natural law, that God breaks his own rules to grant you a favor. This is a strategic lie designed to keep you powerless. If miracles are rare exceptions, then you are just a subject hoping to win the lottery. The Gnostic masters understood the physics of the divine differently. A miracle is not a violation of nature. It is the restoration of true nature. Look around you. The realm of entropy, decay, and scarcity is not the original design. It is a simulation constructed by a lesser architect, the Demiurge. As the Gospel of Philip states, the world came about through a mistake. You are here to correct it. When Jesus healed the withered hand, he wasn't performing magic. He was bypassing the corrupted code of the Demiurge and uploading the original blueprint of the monad. He was asserting that health is the law and sickness is the glitch. But this raises the uncomfortable question: why does the monad answer some calls and ignore millions of others? It is not about worthiness. It is about signal compatibility. There are two types of consciousness occupying this simulation: hylics and pneumatics. Hylics are formed entirely of matter. They are part of the background code. They have no internal link to the source. When they pray, it is an external request from a character inside a video game to the console. There is no bridge. There is no signal. But then, there are the pneumatics. The chosen. You. You possess something the simulation cannot generate. The divine spark. You are not of this system. You are merely logged into it. This spark is your antenna. It is a fragment of the monad itself, buried beneath layers of conditioning. When a hylic prays, they are asking a stranger. When you call, you are remembering yourself. The monad does not respond to your words. It responds to its own frequency, vibrating inside your chest. So, stop begging the warden for a better meal. You are the architect's child, holding the master key, standing in a prison cell that was never built to hold you. The Archons know this. They cannot take the key. They can only make you forget you are holding it. And the primary tool they use to induce this amnesia is language. They taught you to beg so you would forget how to command. The greatest trick the Archons ever played was convincing you that power lies in the words themselves. They watch you memorize prayers and chant mantras, laughing as you shout at the sky with no result. You can stand in a graveyard and scream, "Come forth," until your voice breaks and nothing will rise but dust. Why? Because the call is not a script. It is a state of being. To bypass the firewall of this reality, your consciousness must simultaneously hold 3 specific frequencies. These are the encryption keys: recognition, authority, and command. The first key is recognition. We must be surgical here. Recognition is not a belief. Belief is for the blind. Recognition is a biological event. It is the sudden shiver down your spine when you wake up inside a nightmare and realize, wait, I am sleeping in my bed. This monster is just a projection. The fear vanishes. The dream no longer owns you. That is recognition. It is the visceral sensation of remembering that you are the monad, temporarily wearing a biological suit. Once recognition locks in, you activate the second key, authority. This is where most people fail. They recognize their divine nature, but they still speak like servants. They say, "Universe, please show me." Jesus did not negotiate with the fever. He did not ask the storm for permission to stop. He operated as a sovereign. Authority is not arrogance. It is physics. Matter vibrates at a low, dense frequency. You, the monad, vibrate at the frequency of source. You do not ask the clay what shape it wants to be. You tell it. Not with force, but with the quiet certainty of the potter. The clay has no choice but to yield to the hands that formed it. This leads to the final key, command. True power is often whisper quiet. Command is simply the alignment of your will with the monad's truth. You are not forcing reality to change. You are collapsing the timeline where the problem exists and selecting the timeline where the solution is already natural law. Jesus, standing before the tomb, he recognized his origin. He assumed authority over death. He issued the command. It was a circuit completion. The current flowed, and the laws of entropy were overwritten. Most of you are walking around with the circuit broken. Today, we stop firing blanks. We load the chamber. Now, we enter the practice. Do not just listen to these words. Execute them as you hear them. The primary weapon the Archons use to block your call is noise. They bombard your mental frequency with static. Anxiety about tomorrow, regret about yesterday. This is intentional jamming technology. They know that if your mind is chaotic, your signal is weak. To call the monad, you must first go off air. Step 1, the disconnect. You do not fight the thoughts. Fighting them gives them energy. You simply withdraw attention. Imagine you are standing on a busy highway, traffic rushing past. Instead of trying to stop the cars with your hands, you simply turn your back and walk into the forest. Take a breath. Let the noise exist behind you, but refuse to touch it. Step 2, the descent. Most of you live trapped in the attic of your house, trapped behind your eyes, in the cerebral cortex. The monad does not live in the brain. The brain is a processor. The heart center is the generator. You must physically move your awareness down. Visualize an elevator inside your skull. Step into it. Press the button for the ground floor. Feel yourself descending, past the throat, past the collarbones, coming to a complete rest deep behind the sternum. Step 3, the resonance. Rest your attention here. This is the throne room. It is silent. It is vast. In this space, you do not think about who you are. You feel for the ancient signature. Ask this question internally, without looking for a verbal answer. What was I before I was given a name? Don't answer it with logic. Just wait. Feel the sensation that rises to meet that question. It might feel like a subtle vibration, a sudden warmth, or a sense of immense expanding space. That presence? That is the monad. That is the part of you that was never born and can never die. When you feel that shift, when the frantic energy of the mind is replaced by the heavy, solid gold of presence, you are online. The line is open. You are no longer a human trying to reach a god. You are the infinite re-inhabiting its vessel. Hold this state. Without this specific resonance, words are just noise. But with this resonance, a whisper becomes a decree. From this place of deep, chest-centered silence, you initiate the sequence. If possible, speak out loud. Voice is breath made audible, and breath is the carrier wave of life force. Here is the protocol. It is not a request, it is a status report, followed by a directive. Say this, feeling every word vibrate in your sternum. Monad, I am here. I claim the authority that is mine by nature. The illusion of this limitation is dissolved. Alignment is commanded. It is done. Simple, surgical, absolute. Then comes the hardest part. You must drop it. Imagine holding a heavy stone over a deep well. You let go. You do not hold onto the stone as it falls. You do not jump in after it to check if it hit the water. You release it completely. Do not look back. Just as Lot's wife turned to a pillar of salt, looking back at the problem solidifies it. Look only at the solution. But listen to me closely. This is where the war begins. The moment you complete the call, the matrix will detect a breach. The Archons operate like an immune system for this artificial reality. When they sense a creator attempting to override their code, they send antibodies to neutralize the threat. These antibodies do not look like monsters. They look like your own thoughts. Within minutes, a wave of heaviness will hit you. You will hear the internal voice. This is stupid. Nothing happened. Who do you think you are? Do not be fooled. This is not you. This is the backlash. This is the system trying to drag your frequency back down to the level where the problem exists. If you engage with these thoughts, if you start arguing with them, you disconnect the call. You abort the upload. When the doubt comes, and it will come, treat it like bad weather outside a window. You see the rain, but you do not get wet. You simply observe it and say, "Ah, I see the interference. It means the signal went through." Stand your ground in the silence. The command has been issued. The reconfiguration of reality is already in motion. Trust the mechanics, not the mood. Once you have withstood the backlash and held your ground, you enter the lag time. This is the period between your command and the materialization of that command. Most chosen ones fail here. They look for the completed miracle immediately. When they don't see it, they think the call failed. But you must understand, the monad does not work like a vending machine. It works like a construction crew. Before a new skyscraper goes up, the old shack must come down. You need to know how to read the feedback loop. When the monad begins to overwrite the Demiurge's program, reality will start to glitch. These glitches are the receipts that your command has been accepted. Watch for 3 specific signs. The first sign is the crumble. This is the most terrifying sign. You call for abundance, and suddenly you get an unexpected bill. You call for love, and a relationship ends. Do not panic. This is not a punishment. This is demolition. You cannot install new furniture in a room full of trash. The monad is aggressively clearing the space for your request. When things fall apart after a call, do not try to fix them. Let them burn. The faster they burn, the faster the new structure rises. They are fuel for what is coming. The second sign is the echo. You will see patterns. 11, 11, 3, 33. But look deeper. You will overhear strangers saying the exact phrase you used in your call. Algorithms will serve you videos answering questions you haven't even typed. These are rendering artifacts. It is reality reorganizing itself around your new frequency. Acknowledge them with a nod. Say, "I see you." The third and most powerful sign is the neutrality. Suddenly, you stop caring if the miracle happens or not. The desperation vanishes. Why? Think of it like ordering a package online. Once you click buy, you don't stand by the front door screaming at the mailman. You don't pace the floor wondering if the warehouse exists. You know it is coming, so you go back to living your life. This detachment is the ultimate proof. It means your internal state has already shifted to the timeline where the problem is solved. When you feel this neutrality, celebrate. The download is complete. The physical manifestation is now just a matter of time catching up with truth. The institutions erased this teaching for a simple reason. It makes them obsolete. If you can pick up the phone and call the source directly, you do not need to speak to the middleman. You do not need a priest to translate your worthiness. You do not need a ritual to purchase God's attention. You simply need to remember who you are. The Archons and the religious systems both rely on the same fuel, your sense of smallness. They need you to believe that you are a biological accident, scraping by in a hostile universe. But every time you successfully call the monad, you prove them wrong. You prove that reality is not fixed. It is fluid, and it answers to those who speak its language. You are now holding the codes. The question is, will you use them? This week, before the next crisis hits, test the line. Do not wait for desperation. Find your silence. Drop the elevator into your heart. Feel the ancient spark. And speak. Monad, I am here. I am listening. I am ready. If you are ready to walk this path, I need you to seal this transmission with 3 actions right now. First, leave a comment below saying, I call the monad. This is not for the algorithm. This is your first act of physical command, grounding your intention into this reality. Second, press the like button. Think of it as lighting a signal fire. It tells the digital currents to find other chosen ones and guide them to this truth. We are building a network, and your signal matters. Third, subscribe. We are going deeper into the Gnostic mysteries, uncovering technologies of consciousness that have been buried for centuries. You do not want to be left behind when the next seal is broken. The era of the beggar is dead. The era of the sovereign has begun. You are not asking for miracles anymore. You are becoming the location where miracles happen. Trust the silence. Trust the knowing. The line is open. Do not hang up.